Hi guys, this is a follow-up tutorial to the previous one I made. So I'm just going to try and get into a little more detail this time about how to do the low poly effect. So the first thing you'd like to do is to create a new layer. I'll just go ahead and call mine image. And I'll create another layer that I'll call background. Now this layer is the one that we're just going to draw a random rectangle. The purpose of that rectangle is just to check if everything is registering correctly. So the last layer I'll just create is polygons. I'll just call this polygons here. So let's bring in our image. I got this image from freeimages.com. It's a photographer called Ben Earwicker. So I'll just put the link in the description so that you can go ahead and check that out for yourself. So you're just going to position your image wherever you want it to be, and if you're satisfied with the position it's at right now, you can just go ahead and lock it, because we don't want it to move when you start drawing all sorts of shapes on it. So in the background layer, we're just going to draw, like I said earlier, just a random rectangle. Just make sure the color of it is darker than the background. Okay, so we'll lock that and turn that off. Now in the polygons layer, and that's before we start drawing anything, we need to also change our outline properties. So we'll go ahead and select the Bezier tool that's here on your left hand side, or alternatively you can press B on your keyboard and it will come up. So you create a point by just left clicking on any point, any part of your canvas, and to close it you'd hover over the first point you made and it will start flashing red. Then you know you can close it clicking. Okay, and now we need to change our outline thickness and the color as well. So you can go ahead and press Shift Ctrl F on your keyboard, or you can always click this little icon with the paintbrush. So I'll press Shift Ctrl F. Now you navigate to the stroke style tab here, and you enter 0.1 as your new line thickness, because we need it to be really thin for our effect to work really well. So go ahead and press enter, and there you go, it's now really thin. So the next thing we need to do is to change our outline color. We do that by holding down our shift key and selecting any one of these little boxes down here. So you hold down your shift key and select a bright color, because we want to see it regardless of what image we're working on, because most of the areas are going to be really dark and we don't want to be using a dark outline. So when that's done, make sure you don't deselect anything at this point, because we want Inkscape to remember our settings. So you go ahead on the keyboard and press Shift Ctrl P, or you can just double click on your current tool, which is your Bezier tool, like this. So I'll use the shortcut for now, Shift Ctrl P. There it is right there. Now you can go ahead and click this long button here which says take from selection, because that's the button that will make sure that our settings stay the same. So there you have it, it's now red and it's set to 0.1. So we can go ahead and delete our current triangle here, we don't need it anymore. Another thing we need to do just before we begin is to enable our snapping. You can do that by pressing Shift 5 on your keyboard, and it'll enable this little icon here. So we can just press the icon for now so that we can all be on the same page. So there it is, it's pressed. And we also need to enable these 6 settings on our right hand side here. These 6 icons here, clicking on them like this, because this will really help us to snap and make our effect work much more efficiently and stuff. So we can now begin. So we'll go ahead and press B again to bring out our Bezier tool, and starting any point on your image, you can just go in and make it click, and that will automatically make a node. And we don't want to make too much of, we don't want to create this, we don't want to recreate this image, because if it was something that we wanted to make a picture of, it would really be unnecessary for us to be doing this. So we're just going to try and sort of generalize the whole image, and that makes this effect makes this effect look a lot cooler, I suppose. So let's just go ahead and create that triangle. Okay, I was getting lost talking too much. Okay, so you make your click by pressing your left mouse button, and you make the next node just in the same way. So to close it, you'd hover over the first point you made, and it will start flashing red, and that's how you know you can now close it. So there it is, it's closed. The next thing you need to do is to hit D on your keyboard. That will enable the dropper tool, which is this tool right here. So if I hit D, it comes out, and then you hold down your shift key, you just hold down your left mouse button and you drag it. That will start to sample the color in the current selection. So we hold down our left mouse button and drag, and there you are. Now to get rid of the outline, you'd hold down your shift key and click on this little box here which says none. When you hover over it, it says none here. So it's a little white box with an X on it. So while holding down your shift key, you click it. There you go, and the outline is gone. So we'll go ahead and hit B again so we can bring out our Bezier tool. And just by going close to any point of our triangle, you can see it start to show something on the screen. It says handle to cusp node. So that shows that it's snapping correctly, and that's also the reason why we enabled these settings and did all that increasing of the snapping distance. So there we go. You will make a click after you see it make that little notification there. Now if you see it not snapping right, you just go ahead and use your transform tool here and make sure you're on the right layer by just clicking on it. Now go ahead and press B again and it will start snapping. There you go. So when you see it show that little writing there that says handle cusp node, you know it's snapping. So you just go ahead and click, make another click, and you don't really need to make sure that it stays on every point of the triangle. You can always come over here like I'm doing right now and just click on it. Now press D to bring out the sampler. There you go, and hold down your shift key, get rid of the outline. We'll do that again. So it's pretty much going to be a back and forth task really. We're just going to keep on using these shortcuts here, the B and the D. It will make your life a lot easier than having to go into the menu there, the icon menu, and looking for each and every tool you want to use. D, it's out. Let's get this little part here. Copy. D. Now this process takes a bit of time, but the time is worth it, to be honest, because you get some pretty cool images out of this. Now to scroll in and out, I'm holding down my control key and zooming in with my mouse wheel by scrolling it up and down. Something you should kind of make a note of while you're doing this is to pay attention to the light and shadows. So you make sure you draw your triangle just enough to cover the part where the dark is, and when you get to the light, you'd also try and just make sure you've separated the what can I say, you just make sure you're isolating the color in its right position. So let me make a demonstration of it right here. Like this whole part, this part here, it's all dark as you can see, and this part is lighter. So I'll go in there and just draw in a triangle somewhere up to there, and then close it off, sample that color, and when I'm on the light part here, I'll just go over here and make a triangle right next to that one. So that way when you're done with your image, it will really show that there was light and shadow areas on your image, or on whatever it is you're working on right now. That way the viewer or whoever it is you're doing it for will probably understand it a little more than if it just look muddy. I know I'm talking too much again, please forgive me. You might need a little bit of music while you're doing this, by the way, because it gets pretty lonely doing this. Just be concentrating on making these little beautiful triangles. I think I'll just jump over to some parts which I think you guys might find a little bit more challenging, because what I'm doing here, you can probably see it's pretty much the same thing on this part of the bust. So I'll just go over and work on the nose, on the eyes here, and then maybe move down to the nose. So don't worry about jumping onto a different part of your image, because you can always move these nodes and connect them by snapping. So I'll just show you that right now. I'm just going to work from up here up to the eye here quickly, just to show you how easy it is to make adjustments. So let's start from here. Let's make a big one here. That just gonna move all the way down. Now let's move on to the eyes. Don't be stuck on creating triangles. You can make it any shape you want really, because the purpose of this is to have an overall geometric feel to it. So don't be tied up on making them strictly triangles. Let's check our lines with our background layer here. Yeah, they're looking pretty well. Good. Yeah, it's working out. Switch it off, make sure we're on the right layer. Hit B and let's continue. I'm going to show you how to also do this in GIMP in the next tutorial, so just look out for that tutorial. It'll come out soon. Oh, let's bring on our background image, our background layer, so we can see a little error made here. See, now without that background layer it would have been really hard for me to see this. Let me switch it off. You see that? So it can really come in handy. Now if you want to select any of the nodes, you'd go ahead on your keyboard and press N. That brings out the parts tool. Gotta make sure I'm on the right layer. N, there you go. That little pointy arrow here is this tool over here. So you'd click on any shape you're working on right now, and you click on the node and drag it in position, and it will automatically snap to where it's supposed to be when you move close enough. There you go. We can go ahead and get on what we're doing. Make sure we're on the right layer. Oh, what's happening? I'm on the wrong layer. Okay, we're back. Go down shift, get rid of the outline. I find these parts, I find the parts where the eyes are quite time consuming. That's because a lot of the spaces start getting tighter. Uh-oh, what just happened? If you made the mistake or anything while you're using the Bezier Tool, just hit the Backspace key. Like if you made a node that you didn't want to be in the place where it is, say I didn't want it to be there, I'll just hit Backspace and I'll be able to start again. Close that. What am I doing? This tutorial is taking quite a bit of time, as it's supposed to. Using this kind of method of drawing. I'd like to hear what you think, by the way, in the comment section. Please just make sure you say something positive. Please ask any form of question regarding this tutorial which you have, and I'll try and answer it as much as I can. I'm going to include this illustration I'm making in the description. I'll put a link to that so that you can kind of look at what I've done and see if there's anything in particular you'd like to know about it or whatever. So I'm going to have to stop the tutorial for now. Another thing I just wanted to say is if you want to add a node to an edge or whatever, just go ahead and double click it by using the parts tool here, shortcut N, and you double click on whichever edge or side you want to use the node on. So there you go. If you want to delete it, you just click on it and press Backspace or delete. So I don't want to delete that one, so I'll move it to where I want it to be. Let's go B for the Bezier, D. So that's it for me, guys. If you have any other tutorials you think I might need to go over, just go ahead and state that in the comments and I'll